Wife's affair with the boss. Why me? Been married 14 years, in the relationship for 19. I have 2 kids. My wife and family have been everything to me. I go to my day job, $80K a year. Come home and spend time with the kids and the wife. Night walks, cuddling, watching TV, playing games together. Bedroom time has always been great for both people. I can last a long time and she is always pleased, etc. She also seemed very, very loyal, which is one of the things I always admired in her. So last year my dad passed away. We moved down to take over my mom's house and help her out. I suggest that my wife find a job so she can socialize, and I told her she should go back to college. She is so close to her degree. Her best friend gets her a job who works there 3 times a week. I noticed over the next year that my wife is acting a little bee. She is spending lots of time on the computer. She is dressing up for work but looking extra good. She never wears nail polish and now she is wearing bubblegum pink, etc. I notice her buying these nice looking tops for work that show off her body. About a month before the blow up she starts acting needy and gets physical with me every night. Normally it was like once a week. Then she starts saying if we ever separate she needs time so that she doesn't have to move back in with her mother to get some money for an apartment. She says this 3 times in 2 weeks. So, I finally confront her. It comes out she has feelings for her boss, that she wanted to do an act to him that would lead to intimacy, and that if she had slept with him, she would have left me for him. I was like, what the duck? I come to find out she was looping that Come and Get It song over and over and thinking about her boss. The guy was pulling the classic I have traveled the world stuff. I know all about exotic food stuff. Trying to build himself up, but she was diving right into it. I found an email where she wrote her friend saying the physical was great with me but the emotional day-to-day just was not there. This is utter bull crap. During the initial fight she said that she was planning on sleeping with him so that he would get feelings for her. How dumb can you be? She was just a hot piece of meat to this guy. I gave her 20 years of great experiences and trust and turned down plenty of hot women and never cheated on her. She goes out into the workforce after 8 years of being a house mom, her choice, and she falls in love with her boss who is married with 2 kids, who is an utter tool. He is not even a good-looking guy. None of it makes sense. She can't even explain it to me. After months of lies and stories, this happened about 3 months ago. She finally admitted she had been into him almost from the beginning, and in the last month before the blow-up wanted out of our marriage. Her plan was to sleep with the guy and somehow he was going to leave his wife and kids and go with her and they would travel the world. No crap, that's what she said. Her disgusting words were just devastating. Her obsession in my mind made me sick. This guy is a nobody, an average Joe, and she fell all in love with him and planned to dump me. Now of course she tells me she loves me. It was a mistake. She was not thinking right. She doesn't know why she said those hurtful things. But to me the damage was done. Who can be married thinking they may be number 2 in someone's heart? Security over passion. It has just wrecked everything. I look at her Facebook page and just want to punch the screen. I love my kids. I don't want to devastate them. Her right now, not so much. She is telling me it's her fault and she wants to treat me the way I should have always been treated. I am going through days of utter rage. Then it goes away, then utter rage again. The messed up part as well is that they never had romantic talk, never had flirty talk. Nothing according to her. It was in her head and she leaned against him once while doing some computer training. She used to ask him what to eat for lunch, and he would talk to her about how unhappy he was at home, etc. He bought nothing for his wife for Valentine's Day. I bought mine 2 dozen roses, a card, and ordered out. He asks my wife out to lunch and also if she would come along and pick something out for his wife like chocolate. She refused. Even though she wanted to be alone with him, she was feeling guilty, so would turn him down. I blew everything up days before it was going to go physical. Now I am online looking for answers. I am a wreck of a human being inside. All I wanted was to make a beautiful life for her and me, to be a family guy, and she invited filth into our reality. Comments. First thing, you would be naive to believe her when she tells you this has not gone physical. There are multiple red flags that indicate that it has. She is likely trickle-truthing you, and that would follow the cheater's script. So, for now, you need to assume that it has. You have to know what you are forgiving. Whether or not a PA is a deal breaker for you, you need to know before you make any decisions. You only have a few options to get that information. None are perfect, but here they are. 1. She quits her job. Non-negotiable. Then ask her to take a polygraph, whether you believe in their accuracy or not. There have been many a parking lot confession with just the threat of one, but go through with it regardless. 2. Back off of her for now and start covertly monitoring her. VIR in her car, spyware on her cell phone, and keylogger on her computer. Monitor your cell phone bill and compare that with what's on her phone to see if she is deleting texts. Use software to see if you can recover her deleted emails. Grab her cell phone and have an expert see if they can recover deleted texts. And you need to make yourself an expert on stealth technology. You can get help here. Give it a couple of weeks, then make her quit her job unless you decide to divorce her based on your evidence. 3. Do everything in option 2, but demand she quit her job immediately. Me, I'd choose option 1, but but continue to monitor her covertly. If you see a common theme of her quitting her job, that's because it is a must. If she refuses to cooperate with any of your requests, start the divorce process and keep going until she does. If she never does, you're better off with the D anyway. Once you confirm whether this has gone physical, then you can make the decision to R or not. OP responds, I don't think it went physical. Her plan was to start to do physical crap on lunch break, and as she said to me, he would want the full package and then she would have to do it for him. Like what the duck? Then she felt the physical affair would make him have love feelings for her and he would leave his wife for her. I know people sick thinking, this is not the person I have known for the last almost 20 years. After the blow-up, I contacted the guy via Facebook and told him you're not going to ask her out to lunch or anything, and at best be professional. I did that to document stuff. I knew what he was going to do. So, I showed my wife male grooming sites how they groom women at the office, and she became enraged and disgusted when she figured out what he was doing. He was mirroring all her likes and wants. Then I told her he would come after her job once he didn't get what he wanted. 2 days later he started that process once she ignored him. She brought charges against him and was moved to a new position. She is presently looking for another job. She sees the guy totally ignored her after my email to him. She sees he's as nothing. Now she is begging to stay with me, but I am pretty disgusted. She has not written to the wife yet because she didn't want drama at work. Once she is out of there, that will take place. If it was physical, she would be gone and I would be at the dude's door already. I am pretty positive it didn't, especially since her plan she informed me of. Time not missing, etc. Honestly, it's a disgrace. I don't want anyone to know. My mind is ducked up. Yes, I think I was too nice to her. Plus, I've been seeing her since she was 18, so she doesn't understand what scum some guys can be. All she has known is me being cool to her. I hope time does something because I don't even feel married anymore. She is crying, and you're the only one and I love you the best, etc. But it's coming from the same person that was planning to do what she was planning to do. I didn't add this part. She bought the dude a birthday present 6 months before his B-day. Plus, he sent her a cookie recipe and she baked him cookies. I found this all out going through 15 messages on her phone that didn't have her email security on it. No love messages, nothing romantic found, nothing like that. It was all fantasy and office flirting and progressing until I figured crap out and stopped it. I don't want to tell the wife and put my wife at some kind of physical risk after work from her ex-boss. I will wait until she is out of there. First off, he was her superior. Secondly, he asked her to lunch like 8 times. He came up behind her in her chair like a behind hug and whispered in her ear some work crap. He pretended to demonstrate how some nurse gave him a cardiac exam and came up like 2 inches from her body without touching her, but was leaning over her in a chair all before this all started. He showed her how to get free magazines on the web, but had like dirty magazines on there as well so she could see them on the screen. He did some other crap like that way, crossed the line. Then when he saw she was not going to do anything after I contacted him, he gave her evil looks and started sending out emails criticizing her with higher-ups. So, he was planning to get her fired. Now I am dealing with the aftermath, which is the main issue. I just feel rage and numb, no happiness at all. I feel like my marriage is a vase that was broken and glued together. It's just not the same. My entire view of her has changed. I want this wife to know for sure. He is a piece of garbage. She isn't any pedestal anymore, trust me. She did try to lie in the beginning, telling me she was just considering what would happen if anything physical would happen. That I would find out and throw her out and she would have to go with the other guy. My response was, you are terrible. First of all, the dude is married with kids. He would only use you and dump you. Secondly, if I said get out, how does that force you to be with anyone? It took a couple months and he latest revelation a few days ago because nothing made sense to get the story out of her about wanting to leave with him. I said to her, you had no romantic talk, no kissing, no real touching other than brushing against each other now and then, just flirting, and you took that to the next level in your mind and wanted to be with this guy. I said to her, you're mentally sick. What is wrong with you? I know you 20 years and you would blow that up for thoughts. That's part of what pisses me off. Some people have affairs for years with physical and emotional affair and don't leave who they are with. It was all irrational BS. Then in the last month before it blew up is when she is sleeping with me every day. The dressing nice, etc. And I put 2 and 2 together. If I had not blown it up, she probably would have slept with the dude that week and continued the journey. The 15 emails were all her emails. I only found one from him and it was talking about a cookie recipe with "yum" in the title. My wife actually baked cookies and brought them into work. We had some at home. I didn't realize her real motivation was to do it for him until I found the email. That's when I found the email where she was talking to an internet friend saying how I am all there physically but emotionally I don't talk deep to her. I don't show day-to-day concern, etc. Which is all BS. She was trying to convince herself I was some piece of crap so she could peruse this guy in her way. It didn't go physical cause he is not an alpha male, he is a goofball from what I hear from her friend. That was one thing she liked about him, his goofy personality. The dude is bald with a gut and like 7 years older than her. It makes no sense. I am trying to make sense of it. That's one reason I am here. Now, like someone said, all of a sudden she realizes I've been a great husband all along and she is crying and I will show you how much I love you, etc. But I feel like a second choice to an utter loser. The dude wears adult pajama to bed. What kind of a man does that? Meanwhile, I am a second-degree black belt. I have a good job doing tech work. She blew up everything for what imaginary guy? For a fantasy land of travel. Talking about how much he hated his life and his wife. He used to bring her in the office according to her and tell her his goofy travel stories and complain about his mother-in-law and wife, etc. So, what she wanted to rescue him from his bad life. None of it makes sense. I have had girls offer me things in my office at work and turn them down cause I am married and I did care about my wife. I've been tempted a lot and never did anything, and she gets hit on by a loser and over the course of a year falls for the guy and makes this entire fantasy in her head. I have no doubt it was going physical that week if I didn't blow it up. How long does it take for these feelings to go away or dim down? She may not have slept with the guy, but to me it seems even worse, this fantasy obsession and all the stuff she said to me. Why would you say that to any man, let alone the guy who you have been with for almost 20 years over a nobody? I feel decimated. My entire vision of my world flipped, and she did it all after my dad had just left and I am taking care of my mom who had stage 4 cancer. Who said it? They are right, it's like being in a nightmare and you can't wake up. You just want it to not be there. Has anyone stayed with the wife after something like this and felt good about being with her? It's the passion, obsession that it seems she had for an utter loser. This fantasy of wanting a life with a guy she didn't even know really other than talks in an office. Telling me he was planning on making it go physical affair in order to get the guy emotionally, which is an ignorant plan anyway, as she would have just been used. You don't say to your husband, if I would have ducked the guy I would have had to choose between men and I would have chose his. What kind of crap is that? I called her a dumb. Then I find out she was all in love with this guy. Now of course she hates him. She had a sudden realization I am the most important person in her world to her. But how do you get the crap out of your mind? She was over her listening to songs thinking about this dude. The thing that saved it from going physical affair is me blowing it up, and this guy is not an alpha male. But it's not even that. If she had just a one-time thing, I would not feel as crappy as I do now. All her emotions seemed to be poured into this guy, at least in her head. She made a choice and it wasn't me. Then when she realized he was just gaming her. When she realized she was not even the guy's friend and he blew her off. Then all of a sudden, I am the love of her life. Anger is all I feel. Numbness. There is no happy, and it seems to actually have gotten worse. It's been 3 or 4 months and I am getting more aggravated. My head is not in the sand and I don't see her as some saint. I bet she trashed me in their little conversations like her did his wife. I bet there was a lot more brushing against each other and all that kind of business going on. I am just trying to figure out how to love her again, and even if I want to. I have 2 kids and 20 years invested in this relationship, which seemed fine until this crap. Everyone seems to be saying that she got a taste of the feelings and the high of strange if only in her mind, and now it's just a matter of time until it happens and goes all the way. I never in a million years would think this girl could do anything like this. One of the reasons I married her was her loyalty. She was not a party girl, or a drinker, or any of that. Now in her mid-30s she just wigs out. I still care about her, but I feel like I am living with a ticking time bomb. She is saying all the right things and doing all the right things, but I get a feeling it is a phase. A defense mechanism, cause where would she go? She has no place to go other than her old bedroom at mom's. So why blow things up? Just pretend until Mr. Right comes along. I guess I could pretend as well until the final destruction in a few years. A year later, trying to I have known her 20 years since she was 17, married 15 years with 2 kids. I am having major issues and time is not doing much. I walk around like a zombie pretending holding hands. She sits next to me cuddling watching TV, but all romantic love has just gone out of me. I'm just depressed all the time. Went to see and I still feel the same. I will think I am over everything and everything is fine, and then all of a sudden, bam, I am in mental hell OCD over everything and looking for clues to what really is real and what she is lying about. I blew this thing all up, knocked her out of the fog when I emailed the dude and he backed down in 2 seconds. She says he's scared at this point and realized he didn't real care about her. Notified his wife via letter to her at work. The wife left work 5 months later. But I can't take the obsessive nature of what she was feeling. It's like for this guy she wanted to act like a hot woman, and all these years with me she felt normal. She was going to throw away her marriage, our 20-year relationship, blow up a family with 2 small kids 8 and 9 years old over what? Plus, in her fantasy land she was going to use protection or birth control. She didn't care if she got pregnant. Now I am living with this woman and she is all, oh I was so wrong, oh I love you so much, you're my life. When she calls me sweetie or love, it feels like a drill entering my head. I just think she's a liar and I'm waiting for the next freak obsession. I told her right off, you don't dress hot for me or at least maintain the makeup and all that crap. I am ducking gone. If I left, she would be screwed. She has no job, no place to go other than her mother's, and she would hate that. It's the over-the-top crap that just messes me up. Like that song Heart Attack where the chick dresses like a girl for him, acts like a woman for him. The worst part is this guy is a nothing. He wasn't some young stud. He is bald, fat, mid-40s, married, and hated his life. I have already gotten multiple parking lot confessions, each one adding more to the story. But she is at the point where she doesn't want to talk about anything and just starts crying if I mention anything. I'm disgusted enough. I really don't need to know more. If I do a lie detector test and find out I am Plan B for real, I think I am done. No way I can stay. The only thinking keeping me here is her telling me it's not like that and it was never real. I don't believe it, but I can always doubt and feel better. If I see in black and white I'm second, then I'm done. I got her to reveal more because I went to my counselor and she said that until my questions are answered I would OCD about this, and I can't live like that. I told the wife and I pointed out holes in her story. Last year after D-Day and I sent her boss an email to stay away, she turned cold toward him and all of a sudden, he was doing little write-ups of bad job performance. I told her that's because he didn't get what he wanted. She made some comment that he must have thought of sleeping together was a maintenance or to that extent. I said, why would he think that if you're just flirting, and I went off. Then she confessed that she did terrible things in his office 3 times. One time leaning against him like side to side as he showed her crap on the computer. They were doing this in broad daylight in an office with other people just down the hall. She also confessed she would look nicer when she would go in his office. It's sick just writing this. The girl I gave 20 years to, worked my back off so she could stay home with the kids, wrote love letters to, sent flowers to. I used to just go get her favorite candy and bring it home or surprise her with wildflowers I would pick for her, and this was last year. My dad had left, my mom was getting done with cancer surgery, and my wife was out having a fun old time at work every day. It's so sad. Now I am posting on online just to get relief. There are so much more details that I didn't write here. The details are just disgusting. Asked her 100 times. I just got into a fight over this yesterday and the weekend as to why, what, how. She has no answers, other than she had fake feelings and her evil friend influenced her. But the friend claims she knew nothing about any of this. So, my wife is saying a general bad influence since her friend had an affair with some guy at the gym. Now you see my problem. I can't get answers. Follow up. Last weekend I sent her site that helped file for divorce, told her I wanted to know everything or it's done. Told her this is the only chance to save everything. Long story short, I let her write out things. She didn't include what I knew already. She admitted that she found the guy interesting in the beginning and wanted to get to know him more. She said he reminded her of me. Of course, cough. She said basically they would have these long life conversations. She fell in love with the guy. Mentally made a plan how she and him could be together. They would move into an apartment, all this crap. Had a lot fantasies. Apartment living, all this crap. The guy made it clear he was interested in her, wanted to take her out, etc. Reality, he wanted an office lady. They never did anything physical or had romantic talk. She was trying to progress things at the end, and I guess he was thinking of how to not get caught. She was thinking she would make him leave his wife and then she would leave me. When I blew it up, she says she realized it was all a fantasy. And she really wanted me. So, she acted normal business like at work. He wanted more and then started attacking her work, etc. Now of course she wants me, and it was always me, and she was lost in fantasy world for a year. So, I guess first choice, I am looking at a future of living with her and her trying for how long to look good for me and act like I am number one. Second choice, divorce, give my kids a broken home. Neither really works for me. I am trying to put it behind me, looking at it like she went psycho. 20-year relationship compared to a 1-year fantasy, emotional, semi-physical thing. But it's the intensity of her feelings that sickens me, and knowing she acted like a woman. When I needed my best friend the most, she was missing. Then I have pictures of her looking at me all nasty that year. I can go back and see it in her eyes. You can see the separation from what we had. A year before she was talking about how I was the best thing that ever happened to her, and 1 year later she was making me out to be something I wasn't, to justify her own actions in her head. It's sickening, and if it can happen to me, it can happen to anyone. I feel like Plan B. If I divorce her, now she goes out and lives it up with some other scumbag and exposes my kids to whoever she picks with her great judgment. My kids now have to deal with being shuttled back and forth and all the BS. Alimony payments, child support, etc. I will be working to support her and her new eventual boyfriend. So, in years past we walked down forest lanes hand in hand, laughed together, hiked together, went on adventures together, built a family together. Christmas Eve was sitting together in the dim light watching It's a Wonderful Life. Kids sleeping upstairs, presents under the tree, our dog curled up on our lap. It was a feeling of perfection to me. Family first, building my kids' dollhouse in the basement, and my wife giving me a cup of hot chocolate and watching on the stairs. A watch with the inscription, "My heart is yours forever." All gone, a faded memory as I took the watch and dumped it on the floor the other day. She colored the past, she colored my present, and she colored my future. I may stay in this thing, but my soul is gone. I don't believe in magic anymore. I put away my romantic thoughts of life served up by my best friend and her actions over the death of my dad. This Christmas Eve I will get no phone call from Dad, and if I sit and watch It's a Wonderful Life, it will make me think of the life she wanted with this other guy. I look at my kids' smiling faces and her trying to and inside I know it's a lie. I used to buy gifts for her out of love, and now I buy them because that's what you do. I can't hand her a card because I don't feel what it says anymore. I thought we were special, and now I realize I am just another hairless ape like everyone else. I write here to just get it out and know that someone is listening and gets it. Comments. I can match what you're feeling. A year out after D-Day, and I was more miserable than I was on D-Day. I am going to suggest you divorce. All I see in your posts are memories, and bitterness, resentment, and anger. I will warn you now, if you can't let go of some of these emotions, they will consume you. But I fail to see anything that implies you still have warm feelings for her, or even romantic feelings. And if you don't think your kids can notice the apparent lack of love in the marriage, you'd be wrong. Kids are smarter than people give them credit for. They more than likely know something is very wrong. What I don't see is love. Reconciliation can't be done with just a very remorseful WS. It needs a BS that can, in time, forgive. But that also still has some form of love for their WS. I am not seeing that in your post. I don't know if you have replaced it with another emotion, or if she simply ripped it all out. You aren't reconciling because you want to? You're not even reconciling. Not really. You're just living with her because you think it is what you are supposed to do, and you're miserable because of it. OP responds, you are correct, I am doing what I think I am supposed to. Reality is unforgiving. My comment. Unlike the previous video I posted, this one has a sad ending. How would you recover from a sad ending? Comment down below and wait for the next marriage lesson.